Hey, it's Dan, and in this video we're going to replace the battery on this Kawasaki Ninja 300. I decided to go with a conventional lead-acid battery because of the price point. Lithium ions are better batteries, better performance, much lighter, but the cost of them is just too prohibitive for this use case, so I just went with the standard battery. On this motorcycle, just like most other bikes, the battery is located under the seat, so we'll need to remove the seat, pull out the old battery, pop the new one back in, and then leave it on charge overnight to make sure it's good to go the next day. This job's about a 1 out of 5 for difficulty. Should take you a half hour or less to finish. All you'll need is a Phillips blade screwdriver, a 4mm hex bit, and a 10mm socket. So the first thing we'll do is remove both plastic panels under the seat. So one on the right, one on the left side of the bike. Those screws take 4mm hex bits. The panels are held in place by plugs, so there's two over here, so be careful, you want to pull them straight up. Don't twist it too much or you're going to risk breaking them. So pull it straight up. It helps if you put your hand under the panel to push it out towards you. So here are the plugs that hold it in place. So next thing, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Next up, we're going to remove the seat. So that's held in place by two 10mm bolts. There's one right on this side, same one on the left-hand side. So I'll use the 10mm socket. And repeat on the left side. And this should allow us to pop the seat out. It is held in place by two latches on the back, so you'll need to push it back towards the motorcycle and then lift it up. So here are the two latches. Next up, we're going to remove this plastic panel here that covers the battery. This is just a Phillips blade screw over here. And the other end slides into the frame, so you want to lift it up and then push it towards the right side of the bike. And this will expose the battery. So it's best practice to disconnect the negative battery terminal first. Reason for that is because the negative is typically connected to the frame and most other metal parts of the motorcycle. If you go for the positive terminal first, you risk accidentally touching your wrench to the frame and causing a spark. So the first thing we'll do is disconnect the negative terminal. And next up, we'll go for the positive. And at this point, we should be able to just pull the battery out. All right, so we've got the old battery out of here. This is the replacement. Came with some screws, so I'll set those aside. The terminals are also protected by these rubber boots here, so we'll pull those off. And then we put this guy back in there. The negative side is going to be facing the right side on the motorcycle. The positive side will be on the left side of the motorcycle. And this will just slide right back into place. So next up, it's time to install the nuts into the terminals. These could be a little bit tricky because the screws tend not to be long enough to reach all the way down. So a trick that I like to use is to actually insert them first. I'll use the screw just to catch onto it. Usually the screw is just barely long enough to reach it in this case. By the time you add the terminals on top of it, it just won't reach anymore. So just thread onto it, hold it up, and then use a piece of cardboard or paper or anything else to lift up the nut from the bottom. So you'll insert that paper underneath the nut, just like that, and then it's going to stay in place. So next up, we're going to attach the terminal, and again, we're starting with the positive side first. And from this point on, it's very easy to catch on. And we'll do the same thing on the negative terminal. Got the nut in there, we'll attach the screw. Turn it just barely enough to catch the thread. That allows you to lift up the nut. And now we can add a piece of cardboard underneath it as we lift it up. Lift up the screw, slide the cardboard in, and now we can attach the terminal and any other accessories you might have here. Next up, we'll reinstall the seat. So with this guy, catch it a little bit farther back, slide the tabs in place, and slide it forward. And then use the 10mm bolts and then finally we'll reinstall the plastic covers. So these will just snap back into place. Start it by hand. And snug it up. So I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.